Welcome to the Pam Show. I'm happy you're here today because we're going to talk about something that might rub some parents the wrong way. But here you go. I'm direct, just how I am. You know me. If you know me, you know that's how I am. What I see a lot, what I hear a lot, is parents who talk at their kids constantly, over explain everything, give them reasons for everything, every rule that they've made, everything they've asked their child to do. They feel like they have to justify their actions to their child. And sometimes you'll even see them like in the store giving like a mini TED talk. They're explaining everything to this sweet little 5-year-old. That's nonsense. That is nonsense. We're going to talk today about why it's important that you give your children direction. You're kind, you're calm, you're clear, you're concise, you're direct, tell them exactly what you expect. And don't let them lure you into discussions about everything. Now, yes, there are times when discussions are necessary, particularly if your children are older or there's a situation that you've not experienced before with your child. And so you want to explain your reasoning for whatever. But listen, once your children know what you expect of them, that's pretty standard in your house, you should just be able to tell them what they need to do or what you expect of them without this compromise, negotiation, them ignoring, them trying to stall till you get to the point where you're so frustrated you're yelling. And if that is happening in your home, that is because you have created that. Now, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying you need to learn some skills to manage that behavior more effectively. And that's what we're going to talk about today because I see this all the time. I see parents caving into children because they don't want to have to deal with the backlash for the behavior. I see them over explaining just yakety 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 yak ad nauseum at the children. Who wants to hear that? Really, let me just tell you, your children don't. In case no one's ever told you that before, they're really not listening to you. They're not, that's not registering because they're in the moment of, say they want a toy and you say, no, we can't buy it today. And they're like, but why? And then you go, well, right now, mommy doesn't have the money and because we have to pay. Okay. And see what happens there? Now they've pulled you into this conversation with a 5-year-old about a toy when you could just say, you know what, that's not an option today. That's it. It's not an option today. All right, let me back up here. Now an older generation, obviously. With my children, I would just look at them and go, can it? Can it? And they knew what that meant because we'd already been through these scenarios. And my children knew when I said, can it? They needed to stop what they were doing. That we're not negotiating, we're not discussing. I also said, it's not up for discussion. End of story. Here's another little secret. Your kids don't have to like it. They don't have to like it, right? As a parent, it is your job to teach your children, as I call it, how to be in the world. I always do the quotation marks, be in the world. It starts at home. It starts when they're young. It starts with you teaching them how to handle disappointments, that everything is not going to go their way, that the world does not revolve around them. Because if you don't do that, if you don't teach them that, the world will teach them that. And it might be a little harsh. It might be a little overwhelming for them. But you need to teach them that. That's part of life. They can't always be happy. They can't always have everything their way. That's not reality. Maybe in your house. And we all know, we've all seen children who were spoiled, 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 spoiled as kids, and now they're adults and they can't function right, or they expect everybody to do everything they want. And when they don't know how to handle it. What we want for your children, and hopefully what you want is for your children, they know how to manage themselves in the world because they've been taught from a young age. So let's get into this. So here's what happens. You say to your child, it's time to put your toys away. Now, hopefully, you've given them a warning. Maybe they're playing with their toys and you say, hey, in 5 minutes, it's going to be time to clean up. That's it. You don't have to go into an explanation. Just 5 minutes, it's going to be time for you to clean up. Do you hear what I said? Just you can ask them that. Yes, you want to make sure they heard you because sometimes when they're playing, especially young children, they're not hearing you. They're engaged in their play. They're not intentionally ignoring you. They truly didn't hear you. So you have them acknowledge it and then say, okay, so when time is up, no, you can set a timer. Time is up. Okay, time to clean your toys. That's it. Now, if they start, why? Can I have 5 more minutes? Here we're getting to that why stuff that's stalling you. Can I have 5 more minutes? There's negotiation going on. Okay. Or they'll ignore you. They won't do it because they're going to pretend they didn't hear you. Now, let's just say in some instances they may not have heard you because they're engrossed in their place, especially young children. So that's when you go over, touch them on the arm, look them in the eye, and say, it's time to clean. So you know they've heard you and they've seen. Okay. You've seen that they see your lips moving. Okay, time to clean up. So they're not ignoring you. Okay, no negotiation, no stalling, just get it done. And they start cleaning. And then you say, thank you, you're doing such a great job of cleaning up your toys like I asked. That's very responsible, as they're done. Because you always want to praise that positive behavior because that's going to encourage more. Now, what if they say, I don't want to? I don't want to. Well, a couple things. You can say, well, you may not want to, but you need to. Or you know what your option is? To clean your toys. Again, calm, matter of fact, direct. Remember with young children, you say what you mean what you say, and you follow through. They don't need long explanations. They don't need all these reasons why. Like, for instance, your child says, I want to go to the park. And you're like, well, today we can't go to the park because you have to get your homework done, and then we have to make dinner, and then it's going to be, you just go, it's not going to work today. It's not going to work today. Okay. Don't need long explanations. Don't need to go into detail. Now, with older children, yes, you can be 10, 11, 12. Yes, you can get a little more explanation with them. Again, you're not negotiating, you're not compromising, you're not having them stall and ignore you. You're giving them the solution or the reason why you made the decision you made one time. And then the next time that scenario comes up, they already know. They know why you feel like you do. Okay. You can explain after the situation. So say your child gets upset that they have to clean up their toys. They clean them up, they're not really happy about it. And then after that's all over with, because if you try to talk to them while they're angry or upset, they're not hearing you anyway. Nobody does when they're angry or upset. They're not hearing what other people are saying to them necessarily. And they're frustrated with you. So it's not a really good time to have a conversation, right? So you can say after they've calmed down, let's talk about that. I saw you upset when you had to clean up your toys. What's that about? And that's when you have the conversation like, well, you're part of the family. That's your responsibility. Those are your things. That's what you need to do. Right? We all have to do things in life we don't like to do. Just part of everyday life. Like cleaning the house, going to the store, making breakfast every day, going to work, paying your bills, whatever it is. That's life. And that's what your children are going to have to deal with someday. And they need to be taught that from a very young age. They're not always going to be able to negotiate, compromise, stall, or ignore people when they're out in the world. And so they have to learn how to deal with those emotions, have that self-regulation and that self-control, and still do what needs to be done. It's just life. Okay. So here's an example. Now, this is a situation that had not happened before. And so I explained it a little bit to my grandson. Now, this was a couple years ago. He was 5. We were at the local YMCA for soccer games. So his sibling and a couple of my other grandchildren were all playing soccer on the same fields. So I was there watching. Now, across the soccer field, all the way across the other side of the soccer field, and actually it was like 2 fields. Then there was like a driveway area where cars, came into park, and then there was the playground. And he said to me, can I go and play at the playground? And I just looked at him and said, you know what? It's my job to keep you safe. And if you're over there, I can't get to you if I need to. And I'm watching the games. So today the answer is no. That was it. He went and played around where I could see him. Because no way was I sending a 5-year-old all the way over there by himself without me beside him. Number one, there were hundreds of people around and cars were going past. And number two, it just wasn't safe to do so. So I wasn't letting that happen. That was it. Now, in that case, because it was something that was not the norm, he'd never been in that situation with me before, I took that few seconds to explain it. He understood. He didn't go, but why? But I really want to. But why won't you let me? My answer would have been, that's the end of this discussion. And I would have not engaged anymore. But I would have said it nicely, sorry, bud, end of discussion. That's it. You're not harsh. You're not mean. You're not yelling. You're stating fact. You're short, sweet, to the point. That's what children need. They're looking to you to be the parent. They're looking for you to be in charge. They're looking for you to be the leader. They're not adults. They're children. You're teaching them how to be adults someday, but they're children. They don't process like you do. They don't have the knowledge and the wisdom and the life experience that you do. Do they have to like it all the time? No. Like I said, they don't have to like it. They just don't. Too bad. I mean, I'm not sugarcoating that. Too bad they don't have to like it. It's just the way it is. Because you're the parent. You need to protect them. You need to keep them safe. You know what is best. So don't let yourself get drawn into these long discussions or analyzing everything or having to explain ad nauseum about why you made a decision. Like, here's an example. You're taking your kids to the park. You say, guys, when I tell you 5 minutes, that's the warning for you that we're going to be leaving in 5 minutes. Here you go. They played for half an hour. You go, okay, guys, 5 minute warning. You let them know. Now make sure you know they heard you, right? So it may take you walking up to them. Again, looking in the eye again. Hey, 5 minutes, right? We're leaving 5 minutes. Okay, great. Now 5 minutes is up. And you're like, okay, guys, time to go. And they start, oh, but can't we have 5 more minutes? We're having so much fun. Can't we stay and play? You say, you know what? It's time to go. And you go. You take them and you leave. If you start caving in every time they start that whining, that negotiating, because that's what they're doing with you, they're negotiating with you. You're the adult. You don't negotiate with children. You're the parent. You're in charge. So you say, yep, time to go. That's it. Now, let's say in this scenario, you've given them 5 minute warning, and up comes a friend that they have not seen in a while. And now they want to play a little bit longer. And they come up and say, hey, mom, Sammy just got here. Can we play a little bit longer? Now, in that situation, of course, you could say, you know what? The original plan was we were leaving in 5 minutes, but since Sammy came, I can give you a little bit more time. And you're specific, you have 10 more minutes, whatever it is. Okay, it's okay to compromise in that situation because that was, someone came up that wasn't part of the norm. That's okay to do that. We're not drill sergeants here. We're not the Marines or the military. There are situations when you can compromise some, but not if your children are constantly begging, whining, pleading, negotiating. Because when they do that, now you would think like, okay, it's okay once in a while, but guess what that does? That teaches them they can do it again. And they're going to repeat behavior that they get away with. Okay, let me say that again. They're going to repeat behavior that they get away with. As a parent, you say what you mean what you say, and you follow through every single time. Every single time. If you don't, it's a kiss of death because they know they don't have to listen to you. And that's when they start ignoring you. And then that's when you say, I have told you 5 times. How many more times do I have to tell you? And you start yelling because you're so frustrated because they're not listening to you. But guess what? You created that. I'm not sugarcoating that either. You created that because you allowed it to happen. They're not going to do it if they can't get away with it. And let me tell you, children are trying to get away with whatever they can get away with. Some are sneaky, they're manipulative, they lie. Now, even the best kids. Now, I'm not saying all children are like this. Kids are going to get away with what they can get away with. That's just part of their nature. But you always have to be one step ahead. You have to be the parent. You have to be in charge. You have to be in control. You need to stay calm. They need to know when you say something, you mean it. Not open for discussion. And watch how things change in your household. Because now you're not having to compromise, negotiate, have them stall, right? Go into them ignoring you because they know if they do, they're going to have a consequence. Let me give you an example on this. And I just did a Facebook Live about this. Okay. You say to your child, it's time to clean your room. Say they're like 10 years old. It's time to clean your room. 5 more minutes, whatever they're doing. Say they're playing a video game and you go, in 5 minutes, you need to clean your room. You go up, look them in the eye. Did you hear what I said? What? No, no. Because they're playing a video game. Their brain is like in a whole nother stratosphere. So you have to make sure they heard you. Say, it's time to clean your room in 5 minutes. Got it? Yes, got it. Make sure they acknowledge. Okay, got it. 5 minutes are up. He says, time to clean the room. Mom, can I have 5 more minutes? I don't want to. I'm right in the middle of this game. Can I? Kiss of death if you cave. Kiss of death. They've been given an advance notice. Now it's time to go clean your room. I don't want to. Okay, you're not arguing. You're not getting into power struggles. You're not going to let them delay. You just go, okay, guess what? They're 10. They can make choices. They can face consequences of their choices, good or bad. Okay, here are your choices. I'm going to give you three choices. One is I clean your room for you. Now, this is only if they get an allowance. I'm going to clean your room for you. And I'm deducting $5 from your allowance this week for the work I just did. Two, I go clean your room. I take everything I find in there that's not put away where it should be or is on the floor, and I'm throwing in the trash. Or three, I'm going to clean your room. I'm going to take up everything I see on the floor or laying around. I'm going to put it in some bags and keep it. And then you have to do extra chores to earn it back. And they're not going to be easy, fun chores. We're talking about scrubbing the bathroom floor with a toothbrush, picking weeds outside, scooping the dog poop up out of the yard. Which of these choices would you like? Or you can go clean it yourself. Watch how fast they get and move. Because number one, they do not want you in their room touching their stuff. I guarantee it. Okay. And number two, none of these sound like fun. None of them. No, hey, say they make that choice. Say like, I don't care. Go ahead. I don't care. To see what you're going to do. No discussion. No more negotiating. You just turn around, you go walk away, you do whatever one it is you're going to do. You follow through with it. Because once they know that you say something and you are following through with it, they stop pushing the next time you ask them to do something or tell them to do something because they know you're not playing around. You mean it. It's not up for discussion. Here are your choices. When around 10, 11, 12 years old, even younger, right? They need to know that every action has a reaction and that their choices that they choose to make have an impact on them. So when you say to your child, okay, you don't want to clean your room, fine. Here's the three options. If you choose not to clean it, you're giving them the consequences of their actions. What they choose is what they chose. It wasn't you putting that on them. They chose it. Now they're accountable for that consequence and for what happens. That's real world. That's what happens in life. You're held accountable for consequences for your choices, right? So say they're speeding down the highway and they get pulled over. Now they get a ticket and they're like, what? What? I'm getting a ticket? Yeah, that was a choice you made. You knew what you were supposed to do. You chose to do something different. This is what happened. These are your consequences, and you're accountable for them. It's not the police officer's fault. It's yours. You were driving. You chose to speed, to go over the speed limit. Consequences, action, speeding, reaction, ticket. Okay. It's really simple. This is all common sense. You know all about common sense parenting. This is all common sense. None of this is rocket science. But you need to make sure that you say what you mean or say, and you follow through every single time. Now, let me hop over into another subject real quick. I was in the grocery store. This was about 3 months ago. I'm in Target and I'm checking out in the self-checkout, and there's a mom over here, and there's two kids in the sitting in the cart. One looked to be about 8, one looked to be about 6, and they were just hopping all over, fussing. Can I have, can I have, can I have, can I, mommy, 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 mommy. She's like, you guys are driving me crazy. And then she lets them have what they wanted. Okay, you can have it. You have to be quiet. Here, have it. I just had to bite my lips. Not my kid, not my problem, not my monkey, not my circus. But guess what she just taught them? Mhm. That they can do that again and they're going to get what they want. So she is teaching them that behavior. She's reinforcing it. Instead of saying, you know what? The way you guys are acting, you're getting nothing. Maybe next time you'll do a better job of behaving. We'll see how that goes. But nope, she caved. And I see that an awful lot with parents. So what I'm saying to you is don't cave. Don't cave. Remember, you're the parent, You're in charge. Kids need a leader. It makes them feel safe. It makes them feel like they can trust you. They need to know what comes next. That makes them feel secure. And that's your job as a parent. All right, y'all. I'll see you on Thursday. And until then, remember, hug and love your babies.